By laag 1. Ek soek net 'n voorstel en 'n sekondant vir volledig 5.1 notulen van die IBK
wat aangebied word, Persmarius, Gauteng.
Meneer Wildtuin.
Alle raadslede is welkom.
That especially when it comes to functions, also to inform us and you don't know, or sometimes you see the stuff on Facebook but it hasn't been communicated to you and you don't know exactly whose program it is, so we would it's from the MACO that they're going to implement so that we can be aware.
Om dit in 'n notulen te bring dan
Alle bestuurder en kommunikasies.
Graag.
Speaker, in verband met die provinsiale rugbywedstryd wat afkom. Speaker, maar dit gemaak word in 'n begroting, ander poste.
Thank you, budget in Bezos. And I wanted to thank those that attended and answered some interesting and maybe even sometimes difficult questions at the budget in Bezos.
Wys op 'n hele paar van die raadslid Olwage wat nie meer die verteenwoordiging op daai versprei is raadslede. Wat basies en ek dink die staat hy nou basies net vervang word met raadslid.
Burgemeester.
I am the provincial chairperson as ook die verteenwoordiger.
Waarvoor vir?
Teenwoordiger. Jy weet, ek dink hierso staan er as 'n burger is 'n sekundi.
Ja.
En as die verteenwoordiger byvoorbeeld aftree of wat ook al, die opskrywe en die ander ene moet byvoorbeeld die sekundi wees. Dis soos ek dink dis die rede hoekom ek vir Raadslid Burger voorstel. Never mind wat wat die uitkoms is. Ek stel hom voor want ek dink dit is vir my is dit die regte prosedure.
Raadslid.
Ek sekondeer natuurlik die burgemeester se voorstel. Dankie.
Ek is allergies, raadsheer Jantjies, ek is allergies vir die Kaap. As jy vir my sê Kaap, dan soek ek 'n verskoning. Ja. Nee, ek gaan net onder duress en al wat ek bywoon is die speakersforum en daaroor bou ek nou al pressure op want dis die 4de en die 5de en ek moet in die stad in. En ek het 18 jaar daar gewerk, ek hou niks daarvan nie. So nee, ek gaan nie dit aanvaar nie. Net 'n regstelling, sekundie is meervoud, sekundus is enkelvoud. So neem maar net kennis. My Latyn 1 sal my daarom nie hier in die steek laat nie. Maar ek het die vraag gevra of dit ook geld vir die kliniek. Burgemeester, is jou voorstel ook dat raadslid Eksteen op die kliniek sit vir wijk 5, nee? OK. Ons het hom so, Marius?
Rondom die kliniek, die kliniekkomitees dien. So as dit goedgekeur is hier, dan
Fra Zulile is nie hier volgens nie. Hy sit virtueel. Vrae soos by 11.5 kom. Report of the Audit Committee to Council for the quarter ended 31st of March. Hy dan saam met die opkar wil hanteer. Is dit in orde so? Kan ons dit so aanvaar? Dankie. Die tweede een wat ek net wil sê, julle het almal hierdie dokument gekry en dit is die GOP dokument. Dit is ons riglyn vir die jaar. As jy mooi onthou, alles wat die publiek genoem het op die verskillende GOP-vergaderings is vervat. Julle lyste is daar agterin. Dit gebruik die administrasie om die maak asseblief seker julle gaan daardeur. Ons moet dit Mei maand aanvaar. Stuur asseblief julle regstellings aan Tracy. Ek het 'n heel paar goed gekry wat ek bevraagteken en wat inkorrek is, maar ek sal dit met Tracy opneem. Ek wil net nie ons moet 'n dokument aanvaar einde Mei sonder dat ons vir hom behoorlik deurgewerk het nie. Dis my versoek. En die enigste laaste een daarop, wat betref die mosie of dan die dissiplinêre voor, die proses is aan die gang en die initieerder is aangestel, so ons wag nou vir terugvoering van hom af. Terugvoering vanaf raadslede oor vergaderings bygewoon. Ek het geen ontvang nie. Ek weet niemand het vergaderings bygewoon volgens my rekord nie. Niemand? Dankie tog. Punt nommer 10, verklarings of mededeel.
Ek wil ook net van my kant af die raadslede hê. Geseënde dag toewens en geseënde vergadering.
Sorry burgemeester, kan jy net die mikrofoon aansit?
Ek wil ook net weer eens van my kant af spreek almal die raadslede, amptenare en die publiek geseënde dag toewens en vir ons geseënde donderdag Vryheidsdag 4 dat ons as Suid-Afrikaners en ook hier aan die suidpunt van Afrika ook die inhoud en die betekenis van die dag sal uitleef in ons gemeenskap en veral vir ons as leiers van Kapakallas. En dan ook, I think, Karen Donald also already mentioned it, but I must say that we just finished last night, was the last budget in Bezo in Arniston, and I think all went well. Very good inputs also still from the community came in. Everything was minuted, and ek het Sean het reeds 2 datums met my vasgemaak, en ek hoop en vertrou dat al ons inwoners inputs oorweeg sal word wanneer ons by mekaar kom, want dit is die exercise wat ons doen. Ons sê vir die mense, hulle het nog tyd tot die tyd, ek dink dis almal nou saamgevat elke week wat ons uitgesit het om al die inputs weer deur te gaan, en dat ons dan kyk na die einde van die maand, wanneer ons by mekaar is, dat ons almal wel deurdagte inhoudsbegroting vir die dag.
Amen.
Ja, Speaker, miskien net van my kant af ook net vir spesifiek die CFO en vir Sean rondom hulle, laat ek dit so sê, it actually happened by default. Dinge anders was op vakansie en Sean het siek geraak en toe moes Joanne baie vinnig instaan. Maar ek moet nogal vir julle sê, aan die publiek, maar dit was meer te staan, maar hy het hom regtig baie goed van sy taak gekwyt en ten minste, ek dink wat gebeur is, ons vergroot net van mense wat ons
Oor. Punt nommer 11, items na die raad verwys vir oorweging, items refer to council for consideration, 11.1.
ceremonial aspect, and just for specifically because the communication department is here, that we just maybe deal with that item. 11.6, het die raad 'n beleid aanvaar waar mense die, is dit nou die eer of die erkenning, dis nou die woord wat ek nou so many points, you've been a councillor or speaker for so many years, we get so many points, and I think this was the last exercise that Mr. Blackie Swart did, minimum requirement of pointing before we go into the agenda items. And the two councillors that is eligible for the recognition of aldermen also earned 21 points, which
ek sal na my nie toespraakie, maar my inset is hulle gaan nou klop. Ons werksmense gee ons erkenning, toekenning, goedkoop maak. Jy weet, ek het by die laaste slag wat ons mense raadsheer gemaak het ek my raadsheerskap aangebied om terug te gee vir die raad. En nêrens sal jy sien, laat mense kry erkenning. Kyk, almal is nou nie dieselfde nie. Ek vat net my vrou, al die 4 sertifikate hang in ons huis. En ek wil regter sien, laat ons raadsheerskap, ek meen, die puntestelsel word die raad, dit hang af as ons volgende jaar in is, dan sê ons maar, ons gee van die eerste jaar af gee ons, en niemand kan iets maak aan nie, so dit is nie, maar wanneer daar is, dat jy moet 2 termyne 10 jaar daar wees, dan raad het, ek meen, dat is het geloofwaardig, maar so ek wil sê gedien het, 10.
Dankie, raadsheer, burgemeester.
Speaker, baie dankie. Ek is nogal baie teleurgesteld in dit wat raadsheer Jantjies nou sopas gesê het, in terme van dat hy ag 'n raadsbesluit as goedkoop. En hy was deel van die besluit, toe die besluit gemaak word in terme van die puntestelsel, was hy deel daarvan. En ek is nogal teleurgesteld, en as hy sy aldermanskap wil teruggee?
regtig nie by die raad. Ja. So ek dink nie ons kan dit nou nie aanvaar nie. Dit is maar op hierdie stadium van die wedstryd dink ek is dit deur die komitees en dit is volgens die kriteria en daarom dink ek nie kan ons nou hier sit en dit nie aanvaar nie. Ek dink nie so nie. OK, burgemeester.
Dankie spreker namens die en ons sien uit om julle aldermanskap te vier. Ek hoop na die raadsvergadering. Dankie.
Ja, baie dankie. Enige ander vrae?
No, Speaker, there isn't much. I think there was not a proposal that we need even to look at, just to review the sell out. So we say not someone need even to. I'm not supporting even the mayor to receive that how long we've been. I'm trying
to debate that any further. This decision is taken. It's according to criteria, and we'll have to rest the case, I think.
Ja, Speaker, jammer, is af aan hy punt af van die besluit wat hulle geneem het, maar ek wil voorstel dat ons daardie beleid hersien en die beleid hersien voor die goedkeuring van die begroting, want dan gaan die beleide mos ook moet goedgekeur word. Laat ons dit voor die
Dankie Raadsheer, dit is so genotuleer, dit is nie 'n probleem nie, dit is die volle raad se besluit en ons kan dit deurwerk en kyk of ons die kriteria wil verander in die toekoms. Maar jy laat my nou so effe sleg voel want ek voel nou half goedkoop. Hierdie stadium van die wedstryd. Maar kom ek los dit daar, ons hoef nie verder te debatteer nie. Wil jy iets anders by sê, andersins stop ons.
Nee, ek wil net 'n teenvoorstel gemaak het in terme van Raadsheer Jantjie se voorstel. Wil ek net 'n teenvoorstel gemaak het. Ek dink dat die puntestelsel werk, dit het gewerk tot dusver en ons moet voortgaan met dit wat ons het.
Goed, maar ek meen ons kan niks verloor deur dit te hersien en daarna te kyk en as 'n raad te besluit nie. Dit is nog altyd die volle raad se prerogatief om daarna te kyk. So kom ons.
Was hier sekundantie.
Raadsheer wat raadslede as dit so hou menende, kom ons er.
Speaker, ek dink komende van wat die raadsheer gewoonlik vir ons sê die langsdienende raadslid. Komende van so man wil ek sê dat juis die argument is goedkoop. Die beleid is daar. Die raad kan vaar, dit is 'n raadsbeleid. En dit is punte, mense wat erken vir die bydrae op 'n puntestelsel. So, voorsitter, ek weet nie of u dit komende van 'n man wat juis sê hy is die langsdienende raadslid van Kaapstad munisipaliteit.
En besluit of dit sinvol is en of dit sal werk in die toekoms of nie. Ons kyk daarna as raadslede, ons is volwassenes. Dankie. Dankie, Ewen.
Okay. Ons wil basies net 'n fotootjie neem, speaker, dat ons net die raadsheerskap oorhandig aan die twee Baie dankie speaker. As ons nou kan ingaan in die say the order of the day, we going into the items of council. There's one item 11.1 which has to do with a phenomenon that is occurring all over the Cape Agulhas municipal area, where we suddenly see a mushrooming residences of a assessment or a north area as a start, just to determine how many of these backyard dwellings are erected and why is it erected. And it was startling to find that about structures erected in their backyards, and most of those structures are being rented out to people for an additional income. And what is even more startling is that a large number of the people that are renting are non-nationals, whether it's illegal or legal non-nationals, that we still need to be determined. But currently we just wanted to bring it under the attention of councillors that this is what the situation is currently. It has gone through the management meeting, has gone through the management service portfolio committee meeting. We've also tabled the same trend, net so kan laat, en dit is hoekom ons basies what we call a joint operation with the department, embarking on a joint operation. And again, firstly in the Strathspey North area, and that operation will also be expanded to other areas within the Cape Agulhas municipal area. So the recommendation is on page 8 of this agenda, and that is dat die opname uitgebrei word na alle areas binne Cape Agulhas munisipale regsgebied, en dan ook tesame met 'n volledige implementeringsplan. Ek kan ook vir u noem dat van die direkteur infrastruktuurdienste en ook management services het ons 'n gesamentlike implementeringsplan gekry. Die datum vir die operasie is dan daadwerklik optree in daai verband. Daar is wel baie kommunikasie maak dat die wees binne in die gemeenskappe self. Daar was ook 'n gevoel op 'n stadium dat 'n amnestieperiode van ten minste 6 maande gegee word, want daar is ook mense wat regtig 'n behoefte het aan die addisionele spasie. Families raak groter, daar's nie noodwendig erwe beskikbaar vir behuisingsdoeleindes nie, en dis hoekom mense ook maar die logiese ding doen as 'n kind byvoorbeeld sy of haar eie gesin begin, dat hulle ten minste in 'n Wendy house of 'n struktuur agter in die formele huis ook dan kan is wat ons in elk geval gaan agneem. We won't have a blanket approach towards all the structures that has been erected, but we will make sure that we ascertain ourselves if the structures are excessive and is being utilized for renting out specifically non-nationals, then we are going to definitely make sure that we act against those. So die aanbeveling is op bladsy 8 van die agenda, speaker. Die glo raadslede het natuurlik hulle mening daaromtrent.
Ja, ons luister. Kommentare? Ek aanvaar julle bedoel 'n losstaande Wendy huis, nee. So iemand wat 'n venster uitbreek en daar 'n deur insit en van 'n struktuur aanbou, dis 'n aanbouing. Nee, dit is soos ons dit sien, maar 'n losstaande Wendy huis, net een op die perseel. Aanvaar as dit so, dit is konsensus?
Speaker, we might even agree in this there for several years. It is a failure of us as a municipality to act and monitor. Might be even the problem even to come. We can even have the time frame when it will happen thereafter. Who's going to monitor? It's a challenge that we're having. And also the challenge that still we're having, we mustn't put blame on the certain individual, the resident outside, while we're failing to build houses for the community. It's not a challenge that we need even to look at. Because people will how you take me for how long? Because the system is very, very low in terms of the building of houses and the planning. When we fail even to do, we must acknowledge our failures and also our problem that we're having in the department. As we're having, very careful whatever needs to happen. I'm not trying to be against what needs to happen, but we must even address this issue amicable when we're going to get the amicable solution.
Speaker, dankie. Ek het nou dieselfde gedink wat Councillor Makotwane dink, en ek dink na die 6 maande nou verby is, dat ons nou vir die mense reg gas gee. Waartoe gaan hulle dan as dit miskien nou Suid-Afrikaners is? Het ons grond vir hulle? Want baie van ons kinders is bekkie dwelers en ons kan nie daar verby gaan nie. Want ons kan nie vir ons kinders huise koop nie. So waartoe gaan ons die munisipaliteit voorsorging getref vir die mense wat na 6 maande dan van 'n losstaande wending moet ontslae raak. Weet ons waartoe gaan ons met die mense? Dis maar niet al.
Voorzitter, ek dink ons moet die MMR het reeds genoem. Daar was 'n voorstel vanaf die infrastruktuurdienste komitee, vanaf die komitee, waarvan raadslede deel is, dat dit amnestie periode tot 31 Julie 23, dus 2 maande, gegee word. En IBK se aanbeveling 6 maande, huisves en familielede. En dit is juis die bedoeling dat en die vraag en die of in Kaapagallus die geval nie. Oral oor. Maar ons moet dit bestuur. Die situasie hier is dat die meeste van die inwoners self is ongelukkig omdat daar is die verslag hoeveel en nie buitelanders nie, maar onwettige buitelanders gehuisves word. Dit is in die verslag. En dan ons as leiers omdat die grond beskikbaar is in Struisbaai, het die minister gesê dat ons kyk na Struisbaai omdat daar grond al vir 14 of 10 jaar lê. So daai is in die proses. Ek het nog gister met die minister opgeneem oor wat hy aan die gemeenskap verduidelik het en gesê het. Maar voorsitter, ek wil vra dat ons ook hierby aanheg by die aanbevelings. Ek het dit ergens genoem. Dit is net nie by hulle moet mense wat entrepreneurskap uitoefen. As ek gesê nie. Ons sê dat ek wat 'n groot agterplan maak dat ons dan 'n aansluitingspunt voorsien vir onder daai mense is klaar aangesluit. Elke huis, vir al die lande se huis in Struisbaai Noord se agterplaas is baie groot. En as 'n bron van inkomste kan ons seker maak dat daai mense 'n tweede huis
I speak English, nations that complex issue. Because there's just one part of this problem, the housing issue. We know that the people are putting up these shacks or these, when I don't think just one recommendation about giving the people 6 months or 3 months will be at the end of the day the correct decision to make. I think we need to get forward. And there's also no alternative. It's the same thing that I've asked in committee the other day to Mr. Dennis. What would be the alternative? Because there are people currently struggling with Mayor. And I don't think that the suggestions here really looks at the bigger problem. We need to get business involved. We need to get immigration perspective as well, so that we can find the long-term solutions. Because I feel this is a very reactionary approach and not really looking at the underlying issues. Later, we can give the people fines. We can tell the people that only one crisis. That's why I'm saying we need a holistic approach instead of just looking at from one perspective. Speaker, thank you.
Ek natuurlik moet 'n besluit neem in hierdie raad. Geligte besluit wees. Plaasbewoners geskuif sal kry nie. Vergeet daarvan. Kyk, as u nog 'n oorlog gesien het, 'n oorlog, dan sal u 'n oorlog sien.
Hier van behuising. Ons het nie 'n probleem. Ek meen in Struisbaai is die probleem te lank aan oor alternatiewe behuising. Nasionale probleem. Ons het 'n nasionale probleem. Wat mense elke keer sê, mense kom neem in hierdie geval almal. Dit is een van die moeilikste situasies wat ons aanspreek aangesien dit 'n nasionale probleem is. Die tweede een is behuisingskrisis. Dit is 'n nasionale behuisingsprobleem. Daar is nie geld. Ons het hierdie jaar en ons as in oorlog nie. Gaan ons ooit hierdie mense wat red wens wat moet verbeter en hoe ons dit wil sien in 'n volmaakte land en 'n volmaakte wêreld. Maar die realiteit moet ons bestuur. Die realiteit is ons landsgrense is oop. En elkeen is welkom.
Ek sien by die aanbeveling wat gaan word is.
Ondersteun wat hy sê, dit is juis vanweë baie van die inwoners menteel.
But we fail if we act initially before that are hiring even those structures at the back. Because we don't have any report. And how many of those South African that are having those? upon having even those reports, then we can try and agree with those recommendations. But the recommendation in front of us was saying, why do you do? Because now it's a burden of now us. And the people of Ward 5 in other words, they know I employ you because we're going to hire maybe some structure wherever. They don't take maybe cognizance. And also on our side, those also hiring even a structure issue with them. Let us have a common understanding and amicable solution here when it will happen.
Van Bedazel. Wat agterhuisbewoners betref, hulle is in ons. Ek kan vir u sê, geken mis. Die kwart van hulle binne in huis en die eienaars.
Voorzitter, ek dink tussen Canvas en opleidend krim te praat, die strukture in die agterplaas. Dit is 'n besluit en dit is juist die aanbeveling dat van die insolventie dat die besluit van 139/2009 gewysig word om slegs huisstrukture met wendiges. En dit wil ek juist gesê, ons moet kyk na die beleid wat ons toelaat dat dit menswaardig is, dat iemand toegelaat word om 'n beter struktuur op te sit sodat iemand 'n ordentlike huur kan vra vir die persoon om te bly. Die ander geval rondom die werk
Aanspreek. Dus dit is hoekom ek sê wanneer ons hierdie probleem aanspreek, moet die besigheid inkry. En die ander ene is ook wat ek noem dit altyd die alternatief, want wat ek wil eintlik noem is speaker, so jy moet die ding kan sien waartoe hy gaan. Wat gaan die uitkoms wees hiervan? Voor en dan terug om te kan sien of die probleem met die sakegame se kant af en as ook vanaf die publieke sektor se kant af. Dit is wat ons vra speaker. Ons sê ons moet nie ras na 'n recommendation toe om 'n quick win te kry nie, maar ons moet 'n holistiese deel te raak van die gesprek. Dankie speaker.
Ja. Die saak was al bespreek oor die wes is dat Kapagallas munisipaliteit bereid is om hierdie kompleks probleem aan te spreek. Dis nommer 1. Die tweede een is dat die huidige omstandighede oral jy kan oral ry. Maar dat ons dit begin aanspreek op hierdie oomblik en daar was nou 'n paar maande terug 'n brand in Struisbaai Noord as gevolg van 4 shacks in toelaat deur 4 strukture in 'n agterplaas. En dit wat ons laat dit kyk dat dit die probleem nie groter raak nie. Dat ons nou dit begin bestuur En dat is die huidige en die realiteit aanspreek en om 'n oplossing daarvoor te bied.
In terme van ons beplanningsverordening, as mens kyk na erwe van 150 vierkante meter of kleiner, dan is die dekking 80%. So as ons hierdie punt ek maar al wat ek wou noem. Ja.
Ons neem kennis daarvan, Marius. Meneer Kroon?
Dankie Speaker. Ek dink jy in alle invloede wat inwerk. Onwettige strukture, wette. Daarom gee sy 'n amnestieperiode van 6 maande om die onwettige strukture wettig te maak. Dat die mense kan tyd hê om 'n plannetjie in te dien. Dis 'n sketsplannetjie. Dit is onderworpe aan artikel 13 van die bouregulasies. Hoef jy net 'n sketsplannetjie in te dien. Ons maak dit wettig. En dan weet ons die struktuur, die doel van die IT is nie in terme van 'n boetestelsel moet hoef op te tree onmiddellik en 'n groot impak gemaak, 'n negatiewe impak gemaak op die mense. Daarom gee ons skes van 'n tyd. Kom maak julle struktuur wettig. Daar is 'n proses. Ons gaan kennisgewings uitdeel aan die mense sê hoe lyk die proses? Wat is die prosesse wat hulle moet volg? Die boetestelsel wat ons nou by die landroodskantore het nie. As die mense kans gee en na 6 maande, dan kan ons daar kan doen. En dit is hoekom ons net wettig te maak.
Dankie.
Speaker, thanks. I also just want to put some context to this whole very bombastic approach, and then we think that, and I agree with what the council has indicated, we need to have a holistic approach where all the different departments must be involved. And Councillor Low, you mentioned, for instance, the Sakekamer, or what we know as KABA, but I think a very important stakeholder is also the Department of Labour. They also need to be xenophobing to us. I mean, the question that came, bishop of this municipality, you can't tell me that you weren't aware that so many non-nationals are getting on a bus every morning in front of us, and we're not questioning where they're coming from, where they're heading to. And at that stage, we realized we needed an intervention. And looking back in hindsight, that intervention, one of the major employers in our area, say a demand for cheaper labor, if I can put it like this, what the implications are on a community. And that worked. And that is also the reason why we call Patgan Plasi. We need to be a responsible local government. And we need to make sure that we manage what we are supposed to manage. We want to keep Department of Labor wherever they want to, work wherever they want to. There are processes in place. But let me tell you, within that joint planning meeting, that question was posed to us. What are you doing as a municipality? Because your constitutional mandate is to apply and enforce the building regulations of South Africa. And that is an argument we can have with the illegal shebeens. I mean, it's not our job to stop illegal shebeens. It's a South African police to be a liquor outlet. You not do with this, councillors. It's just making sure that us enforce the building regulations of South Africa, where those underlying matters are coming from, and how we are going to work with that department in order to mitigate the risk that we know is going to engage with the community, that they can, or your next door neighbor is going to, and it's through what enable our enforcement or law enforcement agencies in order to monitor and act upon it effectively and efficiently. Just an input from my side.
Ek dink jy moet mooi lees wat boubeheer eenkomstig toegepas word op die strukture wat onwettig is. Ons stem saam daarmee. Ons moet kennis neem en daar moet wetstoepassing toegepas word. Wat wil julle die bestuursaanbeveling of die of nie?
Yeah, maybe just also to put some further here, and I agree. But that information can only be obtained once we have that operation, because it's the Department of Home Affairs that can indicate to us, listen here, we visited control perspective, is illegal. Because then we've got that the situation is not that dire as it seems on face value. But then we've got factual information to deal with it afterwards. Right.
Spreek ek het gesê, ek ben ons moet kennis neem van die opname en dat ons kan nie bestuur wat ons nie weet nie. En die voorstel uit die EPK is dat ons moet dit waar die grootste probleem nou tans is, en dit is in Struisbaai, maar dat die munisipale bestuurder die reg gegee word, of dit is sy taak om hierdie taak sensitief te bestuur. En dat daar aansluitings. Ons elke naweek, elke liewe dag is ek opgesaal, as die vorige raad sit oor Eskom. As dit nou loadshedding is, bly Struisbaai Noord af. En Eskom het vir my gewaarsku en gesê, burgemeester, ons kan nie meer verder toelaat. En Eskom het nou nie trip as dit aangeskakel dan, maar dit gaan mos dis hier realiteit nie. So laat dit nie almal gelyk, maar hulle het hom nou verhoog, maar hulle sê nou met die verhoogde is die risiko dat die drade kan brand by oor die kwessie wat ons nou aanspreek. Maar dan die munisipale bestuur die leiding neem, saam met sy amptenare om hierdie issue met die gemeenskap te gaan bespreek.
Kan ons dan so dit aanvaar dat ons met groot omsigtigheid en sensitiwiteit hierdie komplekse ding takel en dit moet amper 'n staande item op die agenda wees dat ons terugvoering kry van wat Kaba sê, het hulle opname, is dit werklik soos ons dink dat dit so groot is. Ek het my twyfel daaroor, maar dit is omdat ek daar gebly het en die mense ken. Maar
You will remember the Management Services Portfolio Committee. I think people are particularly aware of the challenges that we're having in terms of vandalism, the repairs that needs to be moved up with the strategy. Now the report is just giving an indication where the hotspots are and where the vulnerabilities in terms of our infrastructure is, and you can clearly see what the target of vandals are, and that is why we've actually also had a supply is our infrastructure prone to vandalism, and also made recommendations what we can do. Now, most of the recommendations are to do structure services, which we are considering, but at the end of the day, we must where we the financial implication. One aspect that specifically from that department think that it can work, that if we make of specific instance, and there's vandalism and theft, and that is why the vandalism and theft strategy to make somebody that is reporting it, and it should lead to prosecution or conviction at least.
I think these challenges, especially with load shedding, it is becoming increasingly problematic. If you look especially at Zwelitsha, the sports grounds there, you know, in my ward, it's quite a big problem. And I definitely think especially the materials there to be used should be rather clear view, all of those type of stuff, because definitely if you look at it. So yeah, I think definitely we need to look at the materials used going forward, Speaker. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councillors. Burgemeester.
Speaker, part of the recommendation of the MICO was that the Management Services Committee recommendation be accepted, and that a comprehensive action plan. There was a long discussion in the MICO, vandalism in that plan to be submitted, waar die uitkomste is van vandalisme oral oor nou. Maar ons moet proactief wees en dat ons op 'n what you call it now skofte basis. Maar die meeste vandalisme word in die nag gepleeg. En ons moet proactief daarop tree. En dat ons 'n paar mense kan oplei onder die EPWP. As jy nou kan kyk na Oumele, na daai sportfasiliteit daar. Dit lyk asof ons nie omgee nie. Maar en proactief optree. Ek ondersteun die vandalisme plan, die reward system, werkte wat proactief deur die daarstelling en opleiding van mense wat as warm bodies daar kan optree, deur die EPWP proses. En daar was gevra dat hulle daai net ondersoek en terugvoering gee, so gou as moontlik asseblief.
I will agree what needs to happen in this regard. I think that maybe certain different departments, national, provincial, need to come on board. Because it's not only the municipal properties that are of a nature, that we need even to divide also different departments. Ward 3, when one of, I won't say, some in front of us, but holistically pertaining even Cape Agala, but other areas as well. So very, very, when they stole the TV and other houses again. But those investigators, they just come out and investigate, but don't come out. They say that it's what occurred, it's what, but these people are apprehended and being held, maybe then they come back tomorrow and they go and do the same thing.
Punt gekry van Councillor Mokotwa.
Item 11.3, dit het te doen met die vervreemding of an application from Mr. V. Titus for the leasing of a portion of that land in order to can tell you there's a couple of these items which has been through the committees and also to the MACO meeting. The 4th of May, consider from a strategic perspective and make sure what we are going to do with our land, how are we going to be dispose of our land, and also what would be the best utilization for portions of the land that might be up for disposal. So this is also one of the matters that we said, rather park it, let's go through that workshop, and then we can afterwards decide, because Marius will also for land for agricultural purposes, that is piggeries, livestock farming, land available to people that then the land lays empty for years, and there are other people that are really wanting to make use of that land. So long story short, we first have the workshop and then afterwards it will come.
Ek dink ons moet daar's 'n hele paar, dis sommer die speaker die nommers kyk wat verwys word, dan voor sy dit te behandel.
Ek dink as dit gaan miskien beter wees so Marius.
Ek dink so, ons maak so.
Okay, kan ons gou kyk is 11.3. Is die een Marius, jy moet gou help nou.
Die volgende ene ook. 11.4 ook.
11.4 also referred back.
En ook 11
that is a right of way. It will also be up for discussion at the workshop, Sunel. 11.6. Okay, so that one.
11.8.
11.
Dat het oorstaan.
Okay, 11.8 gaan oorstaan. Okay, 11.7. Now we can make a recommendation in terms of that.
11.8. Ja, die gras.
All Development Framework, aangesien ons op dieselfde grond soos in die artikel verwys, ook 'n aansoek het vir dorpsontwikkeling.
That application as well, so we're going to let him stand over. 11.10, now we can deal with it. Pig farmers can. Okay, so that's about it. So then we can go to, I think the first one is 11.5. This is now an application that has come to open piece of land running just past the elderly people, Mr. and Mrs. application. Marius, hulle wil omtrent so 10 meter wil hulle hê, maar aan hulle, the ward committee also supported the application. So die aanbeveling is op bladsy 16 en dat die raad goedkeuring vir F1016 na Pier te skuif, dat die eeskredingsooreenkoms aangegaan word vir 3 jaar en dat daar 'n bedrag van 4015 as dienste wat onder die grond deurloop.
Het ons konsensus, raadslede Jantjies?
Ja, ek stem behalwe dat ons moet seker maak dat daar sit 'n kragboks op daai punt dat dit buitekant die grenslyn is, so wanneer ons daar wil in ons nie geënder word nie.
Dis reg. Weet hom so, meneer Moelie? Dankie, ons het konsensus, ons gaan aan.
Okay. So dan gaan ons na 11.7. 11.7 is 'n aansoek van 'n plaaslike entrepreneur daar in wijk 3. Is dit Mr. And miskien kan Oscar so lank nader sit, hy het redelike interaksie met die aansoeker gehad. We might have a better alternative for you at the Lesedi premises itself, at the container, but Oscar will just be able to.
Some discussions or held discussions with Mr. Sekoko, and we've agreed that we're going to offer him some space at the Lesedi Square instead, and it was assisted.
Mr. January.
We have proposed that Mr. Sekoko starts by the 1st of this month. We've engaged with that people at the contractors at P&B Limeworks to provide some service structure for Mr. Sekoko to occupy, but in the meantime, he will start with his business then.
Exactly behind the containers in Lesedi, and I think it's a good idea because that's exactly what we want to promote, is entrepreneurship, especially in Ward 3. So thank you very much, Mr. January.
Program as well as NYDA, and that's some kind of mentoring towards the business. So don't want to put somebody up for failure in terms of the business.
The issue that I would like even to raise, and I would like to thank maybe the elite department, the manager, equip and also to help people, because at that that is about to start to even to fail again, because it's still very young. I'm just looking at that amount of money that it will pay. I think we need even to look.
Say again, what amount?
I think the amount is bit we
Speaker, the portfolio committee has agreed to reduce that amount to 500 rand per month.
You can pay that amount in one day.
Speaker, ek dink daar was ergens ook 'n vraag dat die EBK dat die 3 maande begin word, maar so Mr. Sekoko gaan nie gebruik maak van 'n container nie. Een van die containers wat daar leeg staan.
Die idee is dat hy gebruik maak van een van die containers wat daar staan om te vergoed vir die gebruik van water in die tussentyd totdat ons die nodige stelsels in
Meneer van Biljon.
Speaker, I just want to ask, I see in the application you should have used other waste, or not waste, but would it be water from the network that they will be using? Will there be a meter to meter that, at least to ensure, and whether it will be included then in the agreement? The question is somehow or the other we need to meter it, and then there should be cost attached to that as well.
Kommentaar, Oscar?
Speaker, yeah, we've actually encouraged Mr. Sekoko to use water sparingly. And then part of our engagements with CEDA is to purchase, rather acquire some waterless material for this car was chemicals, waterless chemicals.
Can I also maybe make a suggestion, if it's possible, that I'm not sure if it's for the future, especially to put it also into the budget, to look at those green JoJo tanks, to put it up there to collect.
Tuso Center.
Plus, Councillor Lowe, there's a youngster in Struisbaai who has a car washing business. You phone him, he come to your house, you wash. Thank you, MF.
Yeah, but easy. Service used to be frekwensie, hulle gebruik dit nie meer nie en Jebo Connect het nou aansoek gedoen om dieselfde infrastruktuur eintlik te huur van die munisipaliteit. So at one stage there was an indication to lease it to them at a specific rate, and our IT department said, listen here, there's a much bigger going rate at this point in time, and this company will be able to afford it. And that is why the recommendation is on page 24, dat die raad in beginsel goedkeuring gegee word dat 'n gedeelte van R773 waar hy skraans vir 'n termyn van 3 klein stoorhouer op
Aniston bly. Dit is dit wat daar op gaan kom. So hulle het op wat is daarin?
Enige inset daar, dis batterye en sulke tipe goed, maar hulle wil dit nie graag adverteer.
Stadsbeplanningsproses en 'n publieke deelnameproses gevolg word vir daai stukkie grond. Dit is maar net 'n vergunning, maar die publiek se inset is belangrik.
Speaker, ek sien net hierso die termyn.
Weet nie.
Ek het hulle aansoek gedoen vir 3
Nee, dis hoekom
Huisves, die torens, CFC.
Ja, Nieuwoud's vraag te antwoord. Normaalweg gee ons vir hierdie ouens wat die torens het nie 9 jaar en 11 maande nie. Dis maar normaalweg op die landbougrond en so aan en plase en so aan wat ons die langer termyne hier gee. Miskien normaalweg maar die 3 jaar kontrak, omdat dit so 'n veranderende omgewing is, in 'n verwisselende omgewing. So maar ons het maar op 'n medium termyn kontrak van 3 jaar. Die tarief wat bepaal is markverwant. Dit is dis wat hierdie service providers betaal vir so 'n stukkie grond en jy weet hulle verhaal dit baie vinnig vir hulle kliënte so.
En ek dink dat die aard van die saak gaan daar verlengingsklousule wees. Indien dit kan hulle dit verleng vir nog 3 jaar.
Aanvaar is dit so, kollegas, burgemeester?
Ja, voorsitter, ek dink dit is goed. Ek ben dis 'n beter, soos jy sê, is 'n opname, is 'n diens aan 'n gemeenskap. Ek wil net kyk na, ek ben die bestuursaanbeveling en die finansaanbeveling oor die huur per maand, 2500 tot 8000 rand. Ek ben dit gaan nou uitgesit aan die aansoeker, maar hy het natuurlik sekerlik die reg om te sê, luister, maar dit is 'n bietjie kwaai of ek kan dit bekostig. Ek meen, dit is 'n florerende besigheid, maar ek dink ons het ook 'n verantwoordelikheid dat bestaande besighede hulle deure oop hou. So ons moet hulle ergens in 'n mate, jy weet, tegemoet kom. Maar as 8000 aanvaarbaar is, oop wees as hy sê dit is te duur of is te okay, is aanvaarbaar is 'n geval. Maar dit klink net vir my, jy weet, is mos so 'n stukkie grond.
Speaker, ek wil vir u sê dit is daarom nie die eerste toering nie, 'n hele klomp ander mense en ons weet wat hulle ontvang, so ons kan maar vir hom gaan sê met 'n bietjie laag vir die raad, maar ons gaan hou by 8000.
Te doen met die huur van die erwe in Struisbaai. Councillors will remember that we've embarked on an initiative to make industrial urban available for empowerment to local entrepreneurs in Struisbaai. We had a presentation at one stage at the portfolio committee from a local business person within the Struisbaai area and said, listen here, he will have he will coordinate this initiative, make the land available, and then he will also ensure that local entrepreneurs form some kind of business hub at that industrial urban. There were a couple of questions in terms of the empowerment component of such an initiative, and I think Oscar maybe just elaborate a bit more in terms of the interaction with the business person, Mr. Malan Conradi, and I know we've also scheduled a follow-up discussion with him. I think it's next week, just to get some more detail regarding the business plan that you want to roll out on that premises. Oscar?
Thank you, Speaker. I think this is very contentious, this item, but as has alluded to, that council has taken a decision in the past, or rather resolved, that these plots might be made available to upcoming entrepreneurs. Now, from our perspective as LED, that we believe that it will be in the best interest of the upcoming entrepreneurs to make this urban available to the applicant for two reasons. One reason is Mr. Conradi wanted to relocate his business overseas because of a lack of space, and he employs about 20 people at this space that he currently are. And the second one is Mr. Conradi has indicated that is more than ready to assist upcoming and accommodate upcoming entrepreneurs on if council make this land available for usage. So we would like to recommend that council look at it.
Speaker, ek wil hierdie punt ten volle ondersteun. Ek wil hierdie punt ten volle ondersteun.
Is daar enige iemand daar teen, burgemeester?
Voorzitter, ek dink ons moet, ek dink has just said that I think there's an upcoming meeting with Mr. Conradi. Ons moet hierdie aangeleentheid so gou as moontlik afgehandel kry, maar ons moet dit reg doen. Men hy het aangedui dat ons ook ons legal advisor sien, dat ek weet die laaste gesprek wat ons het op die oomblik, maar daai gesprek moet ons dan hê. Ons moet die duidelikheid kry, 2 of 4, want daar's ook ander kleiner entrepreneurs wat aansoeke doen het vir 'n erf. Daar's een wat bandeplek wil opsit, maar die uitdaging, Speaker, is dat jy weet, hierdie erf wil hê al 4 of 5 jaar. Sê 4. So wat ons dit wil doen, meneer Conradi wil in 'n mate van die opkomende entrepreneurs help, maar ek wil 'n voorstel maak aan Marius of aan die raad dat ons werk te waar kyk en nie net vir Struisbaai nie, maar vir Bedaarsdorp van 'n pier, dat ons wanneer ons in die volgende begroting ingaan en ons gaan weer die lys het van die erwe of die bates wat ons gaan verkoop, dat ons 'n goeie persentasie van die inkomste van daai verkope, dat ons strukture kan opsit as raadvuur aan 'n plammer, aan 'n wat ek al, in elke, want dis die entrepreneurs wat werksgeleenthede gaan skep vir ander mense. Ek sal ook by ons budgetbespreking het, wanneer ons kom by ons moet fonds beskikbaar maak.
Dankie burgemeester, maar as ek dit reg lees hier dan sê punt 4 dat die finale voorlegging weer aan die raad voorgelê word, finalisering van die ooreenkoms. Sal ons weet is dit nou 2 erwe en wat hy wil op die erwe doen, wat die idee kry wat hy gaan doen en wie hy 'n klompie mense in diens neem. Dit brand om iets te sê.
Stadium 4 erwe, want sy besigheidsplan, die struktureplan is geskoei op die wat hy aan die raad voorgelê het, is geskoei op die
Sê 2 erwe.
Okay,
Maar kom ons sit met hom bespreek dat hy finaal vir ons voorlees reg.
Okay. There's a couple of other hands. Chairperson, I think the CFO also want to contribute towards the discussion.
Ja, ek dink net van my kant af, die speaker, ek dink ons het al die gesprek gehad. Ou teen die probleem as jy die grond beskikbaar stel nie, en ek sien daar is 'n punt wat spesifiek verwys na regsmening rondom dit. Ons moet net gaan kyk in terme van die proses wat ons sou volg. Is daar nie so en ek dink deels van die regs ander en dan is dit ook dan net wat baie belangrik sal wees en ek dink dit behoort uit die regsmening te kan kom om te sê enige ontwikkeling wat dan toegevoeg sou word te stel, want ek neem aan dit gaan oor 'n redding, moet dit verhaal word dan indien daar ander besighede sou vestig en nie noodwendig dat daai kostes dan die munisipaliteit toe sou val nie. So ek dink is net
Dankie, dis baie sinvol meneer van Viljoen. Ek dink die toekoms is of liefs afgemerk word. Dankie Marius.
Thank you. 11.12 is to do with the permission to occupy portion of 159 Bredasdorp for pig farmers. Ek dink dit is redelik the pig farmers are ready to move on to a piece of land that has been earmarked or allocated to establish a piggery. They will come to the party and assist with fencing, and all that they need is a resolution from council to allow them to occupy that piece of land. And I want to be quite clear, it's not the piece of land where they cartful site en sê maar Zwelitsa is dis kraal gaan. Ons was daar op die site en dan is daar so amper so 'n 3-hoek stukkie grond wat daar lê.
Ja, ek dink speaker, as kyk, ek dink die grond was geïdentifiseer that earmarked on that specific land. But we mustn't lose consider that we also budgeted 1 million rand. Keepers want to, maar daar gaan nog altyd pikkie. Daar was ook gesê dat wanneer ons hierdie nuwe grond, as daar nou 500 varke na toe gemove gaan word of 1000, dan gaan dit 'n EIA trigger. Maar as ons 100 varke so te move, dan ons gaan dit nou stelselmatig oorneem, dan trigger dit nie onmiddellik sê. Die grond waar die varke nou is nie geskik nie. Maar dit gaan moeilik wees om die mense te oortuig om daarvan te trek. En dat ons met die behulp van departement landbou, dat ons die geld wat ons begroot het, die omheining kry vir daar waar die varke nou siening is, na die spesifieke grond toe, en dat hulle ook soos hulle die farmers sou gaan ondersteun, dat daar moet voer vir 'n jaar wat kan ondersteun word vir die pig keepers. Maar ek dink dit was die gesprek dat ons tog die moontlikheid ondersoek saam met die wijkraad, saam met die wijkkomitee, om daar waar die varke nou is. Want ons gaan nie almal want ek het juist gesê, daar sê byvoorbeeld 40 pig keepers, maar daar was net 5 of 8 in die vergadering. Ons kan nie sê die oorgrote meerderheid is bereid om te trek nie. Almal is nie bereid om te trek nie. Want dit is 'n paar tree verder van die huis af. Ons moet dit daai ding uitklaar. Thank you, speaker.
That department, it was last year August with them, and also earlier this year with LED. So I'm not sure if we're speaking from the same thing. Looking around, phoning departments. So where does this come in now of only moving 100 pigs and then the rest will still stay in Ward 3? Because that's not how I understood it from the inception. But I also think this is where the one challenge came in. It's where I think the mayor and the LED, and I'm not sure what is the consultancy group discussions with the pig farmers. So these type of things are creating a lot of confusion here, Speaker. And I need clarity, because when we go back, we need to be able to say to the pig farmers, exactly. We'll engage with all of the departments, then they were explaining the process with a time frame. And that has still not happened, Speaker. So I'm unsure. Now, if I go back to the pig farmers and I'm going to tell them, but listen, this is what was discussed today in council, those people just need to clarify especially, where are we with the pig farming? What's going to happen? Are we going to move? If not. But I don't want us to have these endless discussions because I'm confused now, Speaker. I'm really confused.
Speaker, ek dink nie daar was verskillende vergaderings so nie. I think there was meetings held by the department, by LED and Casca with all the beekeepers. We had meetings here in the boardroom, but my concern was, and then Oscar's here and they said there was around about, I don't know whether it's 9 or between 9 and 15 people, but I know there's more beekeepers. And from that meeting, I got the understanding that most of the people who attended in that meeting, they are prepared to move. Dat Oscar 'n brief kry, want hulle het gesê, okay, julle hoef nie te begroting, ons gaan die projek gaan. So ons wil daai commitment sien op papier. En ek wil baie graag die commitment sien van die een vergadering is almal bereid om na die area te gaan.
Oscar, help.
Thank you, Speaker. As LED, we've appointed actually thingy in order to with farmers, and the others can be classified as some majority of the subsistence farm. Councillor Low was part of the last meeting that we've had, and that subsistence farmers have agreed to move to this new plot. And they've also agreed, that's what we've all agreed on. Department of Agriculture and the other Department of Land Reform is now fully on board with this whole situation. We've had various engagements with them and they've moved to the pig farmers. They will apply all their resources possible to assist us. For example, like they said, the EI. The reason why we are talking about 100 pigs is because we were advised that more will deploy some field workers from the Cape Town office to assist us with the profiling of these beekeepers and this subsistence farmers, so that we have it on paper and that we can deal with this matter based on data. So after the profiling, that people will actually visit all and fully move forward. Pertaining to the funding, Mayor, of the fencing, it would be our suggestion as LED that we apply that funding at that newly allocated plot. A lot more people who will...
Oscar te bevestig wat ek gesê het. Wat daar's plus minus 1000 varke, was dit voorheen genoem. 800 000 varke. Nou van die ander 900. Dit is 'n komplekse situasie, komplekse probleem. Maar ek wil ek kampkas by die Frandrane wees, want ek meen hier op die R300, hierso in Kaapstad, dis 'n groot, in Swellendam, groot probleem met varke. En ons is bereid om hier goed aan te spreek. En ek wil baie graag hê dat LED hierdie saak asseblief dryf. Want ek meen daar het die raadslede gesê, dis elke dag se oproepe. En as die varke op die Swellendampad is, kom oproepe na my toe. So ek wil hê dat ons hierdie ding bedryf. En dat die duidelikheid moet kry. Ons moet duidelik word van die 800 of van die 900. Thank you.
Thanks, Speaker. I think the purpose of this item is development. Say, listen here, this can trigger your support. Maandverslag sit en ek het hom juist gevra dat hy by elke maand in sy maandverslag net 'n update vir ons gee. So byvoorbeeld as die EIA gedoen moet word, is die EIA is nog oor op die ander perseel te kry. Thanks.
Het ons gesê vir staatspleeg opskat. So aanvaar. Konsensus.
Ek wil net geweet het by die CFO, die 1 miljoen rand. Is dit oorgedra na volgende jaar se begroting of dit is die eerste keer wat ek hoor dit net sê.
Ja, dankie meneer die ja, die miljoen rand het ons aanvanklik omdat die departement volgens die aanvanklike bespreking gedurende die begroting dit om dit in hierdie jaar, so dit is in die 20. Nou gaan ons 'n plan voorlê, ons wil ontwikkeling doen op daai erf en wat as die uitkoms kom en ons sê nee, daai erf is nie geskik vir meer as 100 varke nie. Moet ou nie eers die geskikte plekke kry nie en sê waar dit is, want as hierdie ontwikkeling plaasvind, staan dit wat ons sê, die proses wat vorentoe gaan, maar die eiendom wat bepaal word of die plek wat ons dit wil doen. Dit moet reeds voldoen aan die vereistes sodat as ontwikkeling plaasvind, is dit klop toe nie in stede van dit nie. So ek wil net die proses omvergooi. Dis maar net 'n vraag wat ek vra, sou so ding dan uitgebrei kan word om dit dan te kan akkommodeer wat ons beoog.
Miskien ons dit asseblief by die 4de se wees weer.
Ja.
Hoor wat die CFO nou sê, miljoen rand, die rede hoekom toe aan raadslede vir julle wat nie weet hoe werk die EIA nie. Ek meen, ek weet ook nie, maar ek wil vir julle sê, ons het 'n projek hier in Kaap-Agulhas. Daar waar die Parkview se behuising is. Val moet ons daai niet met Parkview se, want jy kan nie die grond, jy het net 'n sekere grootte gehad vir die grond wat jy kan ontwikkel. En dit lyk vir my is presies dieselfde met die EIK uitbrei. Dit het hy nou net gesê. Het ons 'n versekering dat ons die EIK uitbrei. As ons dit eers het, ons moet dit seker maak, want ek meen, jy gaan dit nie kry as jy nie meer as, ek meen, jy meer as 100 varke saam met hierdie.
Dat die departement wil bewys het vir grond waarop hulle geld kan spandeer. Dit is waaroor dit gaan. En ons, die recommendation is dat ons dit goedkeur. En sodra hulle geld spandeer het, dan kan ons die projek, wanneer die uitgebrei kan word, kan ons geld miskien as support insit. Maar laat die departement aangaan met hulle beplanning. Dis nie ons geld nie.
Ek weet hom so, ek sit en net te dink, jy weet, dis vandag die 26ste, die 4de Mei is oor 'n week of wat. Moet die nie, hierdie punt nie, maar ook op daai werk.
Ons het daar bespreek. Ek meen, dat sin voorwees ek stem saam dat ons het daar bespreek, ons miljoen rand vir 'n oplossing. Ek meen, hoekom nie? Ons gaan nie betaal daarvoor nie. Ek meen, as ons, maar ons gedeelte moet ons nog altyd kyk na. Ek meen, na die ander mense wat daar is.
Speaker, ek wil net vra dat ons die ding laat oorstaan nie. Hierdie ding hou 'n gesondheidsprobleem in daaronder in Wijk 3 en dit is 'n risiko. En dat ons dit goedkeur, maar wanneer dit kom by ons geld. Maar dis 'n spesifieke stuk grond wat geïdentifiseer is. Want daar waar die varkenoos is binne.
Ek wil dan eintlik ons wag dan al reeds so lank, speaker. Ek wil graag uit voorstel eintlik ondersteun dat ons dan op daai vlak bespreek, want ek voel dat ek weet ons wil dit van die dinges afkry, maar dat ons regtig aan diepte aan werk, want ek voel daar was 'n hele paar dinge wat nie uitgeklaar is nie, speaker. So as nie voorstel, ek wil amper dit ondersteun.
Speaker, wat ek sal voorstel is dat al wat ons nou wil basies hê is 'n raadsbesluit. So ons kan voortgaan met hierdie, sê vir departement, luister, ons het nie 'n probleem nie. As daar EIA's en daai goed van toepassing is, hulle gaan ook moes nie geld spandeer as hulle dit nie kan spandeer nie. Ek wil basies net vir die LEB in hulle hand 'n brief gee wat sê, luister, gee dit vir die departement en as ons dan agterna besluit, ek bedoel, dis geen skade wat aangerig kan word. Dis laat ons voortgaan met hierdie en dat ons hy gesprek rondom die 2 persele dan by die 4de se werkswinkel.
Het ons konsensus so?
Yes, because I think we are. I think what we need even to control is, I don't know how many of them that we're talking about. It may happen that some of them, they will choose to go and others stay over. Maybe I'm just afraid there will be some others popping. So we must try and also control even those measures as well. And if there's that list, we must just stick on that list that is there in front of us. No one will be allowed again.
Point made, point taken. Oscar, is hier klaar is dat?
Yeah, thank you, Speaker. And that was identified, was already labeled in a previous council meeting. So I don't see any point, and I Sunial can confirm that the that land is indeed zoned for agriculture. Ne? So us and
so dankie. Collega's, councillors, do you want to take a 5-minute or a 10-minute break? Okay, okay.
Okay, 11.13 speaker has to do with the donaties. This was also an item that has, of the advert that has gone out. There are organizations that wanted to apply, but they weren't aware, so we've re-advertised, and that meant that the amount of applicants just drew from 39 previously to 62. And I think council is quite aware of what is normally happened. There's this amount of money available. There's not really a criteria except for 1 or 2, but mostly what happens is all of those that qualifies in this in that criteria that the organization item on the table. Thanks.
Speaker. As vir my baie as dit gekom as 'n surprise dat hier nou ewe skielik dringend versoek word dat die donasiebeleid moet hersien word. Ons is nou 'n bietjie meer as 'n jaar wat ons al vra dat die donasiebeleid moet hersien word. So is vir my nou eintlik 'n riem onder die hart om te sien dit gaan onteenig kop toe gevat hier. Maar ek sal nog graag wil weet wat is die time frame en is daar miskien 'n datum wat ons vandag kan kry dat ons die donasiebeleid sal hersien.
Dankie, raadslid. Meneer Moelie.
Miskien kan die CFO vir ons help in die verband, meneer die spreker, want ek dink as dit gaan oor die donasie.
Ja, ek dink meneer spreker, ek dink dis 'n belangrike gedeelte, want alhoewel hy baie kort en kragtig is wat ons beleid alhoewel hy in 'n baie kort konteks gegee word. Ek dink al wat 'n mens basies daaruit kan doen is om uit te brei. As jy praat, wat is die doelwit en watter groepe jy daardeur wil ondersteun? En as jy miskien meer gelde wil toeken aan 'n sekere kategorie of wat ook al binne dit kan uitgestip word binne die beleid. Maar ek dink die kritieke gedeelte is die sosio-ene en dan ook dan die wat ons kan doen, ons sal dit so gou as moontlik, want ek dink die donasiebeleid soos wat hy heidaglik staan moet seker maak dan as ons dit na die raad toe vat dat ons dit ten minste voor die einde van die boekjaar dit in plek kry. En dit is by die einde Junie op die laatste, sodat as die beleid dan van toepassing word of die sosio-beleid dan dat dit wel gedoen moet word. Ek sal net graag versoek dat ons, want dit is belangrik dat die beleid is daar en die riglyne is daar. Maar ek dink die kritiekheid van die beleid is waar die raad het en die burgemeesterskomitee word in daai beleid. En hoe dit dan gekyk moet word voordat ou kan gaan sê, luister, hier is nou die raamwerk, kom ons gaan kyk binne daai raamwerk om dit op te stel. Tydperk wat jy sê moet dan wees voor 30 Junie, wat ons dit by die raad moet goedgekeur het, dat dit in werking tree dan vanaf 1 Julie met die nuwe jaar. Maar ek voorsien nie in terme van die beleid dat daar baie wysigings is, want die beleid is baie kort, maar hy verwys na die bepalings wat in die wet is. So ons kan 'n bietjie rondom dit gaan speel, maar ek sal seker maak dat die inligting dan ook dan beskikbaar sal wees op 'n werkswinkel word saam met daai gedeelte.
Dit ons so anders, dankie. Burgemeester.
Spreker, ek wil net vra dat raadslid Matthiesen wys na die oppositie word nie kop terugvat nie. Ons is hier as 'n gesamentlike raad waar goeders gekommunikeer en gedebatteer word. En verwysing na die beleid. Hierdie meerderheidsraad voer die beleid uit wat deur die oppositie ingestel was toe hulle in beheer was. Daar's geen verandering in die beleid aangebring nie. Geen verandering nie. Ons voer uit dit wat in die beleid is. En dis die beleid wat vandag nog
gegee. Ja, ek dink die beleid is baie duidelik wat die donasiebeleid sê. Die donasiebeleid sê dat as jy aansoek doen vir ondersteuning by die munisipaliteit, moet jy na 6 maande report gee. Hoeveel van die organisasies wat aan voorheen gegee het ondersteuning ontvang het al enige reports teruggegee? Hoe weet ons van hierdie 62 organisasies gewerk en dis baie van die organisasies wat ek nie ken hier nie. Die NPO Act sê dat wanneer jy aansoek doen vir donasies, moet jy 3-year financial statement submit. Daai is die NPO Act. As hulle nie daarmee comply nie, dan kan hulle nou ook nie comply by die nie oor wie het die beleid geïmplementeer nie, maar dit gaan oor hoe ons die beleid hanteer en die organisasies wat aansoek doen. Want as ons regtig deur baie van hierdie organisasies se aansoeke gaan, volgens die NPO Act en volgens die beleid, gaan baie van hierdie ouens uitval. Speaker. En dit is wat ons baie en organisasies help, maar dan moet ons die beleid toepas soos ons elke beleid binne in Kapagallas toepas.
Wil jy eintlik sê dat jy voldoen aan alles nie? Want jy kan weer gederegister is en dit is hoekom ons vra dat dan gekyk word na die beleid. Die voorligting daarna moet kyk. Vir die volgende rede is dat daar te alle tye deursigtigheid is, regverdigheid is en dat die een groep mense nie bevoordeel word en die ander benadeel word nie. Dit is maar net hoekom ons so emphasize op dit.
Dankie, burgemeester.
Voorsitter, hierdie mense en dit is nie deel van 'n beleid wanneer fondse uitbetaal moet word. Maar hierdie fondse sou voor Kersfees uitbetaal gewees het. Oktober, November maand. En die meerderheidsraad het saam met die oppositie besluit dat ons dit gaan oorstaan en ons gaan dit oopmaak dat meer mense kan aansoek doen. En dit is wat dit het ons vandag voor ons. En wat raadslid dat Mr. Lou sê is dat is reg. Maar hierdie is die verslag voor ons. En as iemand nie werk nie, as iemand nie bestaan nie, sal hy mos nie aansoek doen nie. As hy nie bestuur het nie. En die aanbeveling staan baie duidelik, is maar dat geen bankstaat of finansiële state saam met die aansoek ingedien is nie. Al die ander het bankstate in werking, hulle werk, maar hulle het net nie 'n bankstaat nie. En ons het verlede jaar, het ons juist daar gepraat. En ek kan terugdink aan 2018, waar hierdie raad vir is diens en om die mense te help. En dat die raad die prerogatief het om te besluit en sê, wel die mense is daar, hoe dit is om vandag 'n organisasie te wees wat met beperkte fondse, mense moet dien. Armoede neem toe elke dag. Gister was ek in Anniston. Daar's mense wat vir 3 weke nie kon kook nie as gevolg net omdat hulle nie kan bekostig om 1 pot gas te koop nie. So hoekom moet ons hierso is die lys van mense wat werk, wat 'n verskil probeer maak in ons gemeenskappe. En waar hierdie mense die lys mense wat nou in November maand moet ek R4.000 sou gekry het, word ook sê hierso is vir jou 'n bydrae van R2.000. Omdat ons meer mense wil help, meer mense akkommodeer. Maar die bankstaat storie is daar. Dit is in die beleid.
Apply for work and they apply via the SCM processes and they don't have a tax certificate, they were going to be chucked out. Because we are an organization that focuses on legislations, doing the work that they do. It's great, they help the community. All I am saying, Speaker, is that we must also ensure that these people comply and we must ensure that they know how to comply. Because this thing of going through things ignorantly, you don't learn about the organization, you don't learn about, all of these things that you need to have to run an organization. Because now you're going to keep having to come back to all I'm saying, Speaker, is that these organizations, they do apply, they must be capacitated, but they also need to comply. That's according to what the policy says. Not to what it is, to what the policy says. So we need to be very fair, Speaker, across the board. You can't have one law for one and then another law for something else. That's all from my side, Speaker. Thank you.
Ek het hom so raadslid Partyson.
Ons kan niks aan maak nie. Ons is gelukkig met die proses wat dit gedoen is en dat is terug verwys daarna. En dit is dit
soos wat hy huidiglik is en wat die persoon wat die item opgestel het, David ook, het aangedui dat die mense wat heen is voldoen aan die vereistes van die beleid, sê dan moet finansiële staat te wees. Om die finansiële staat en wat ten minste die barren is. Ek dink dis goeie voorstelle dit wat Raadslid Renier geopper het daar, maar dis tipies ons kan meer strenger voorwaardes insit. Maar dit gaan in die beleid vervat moet word. Want soos die beleid huidiglik staan, al wat hy net sê, dit is onderhewig aan die wetgewing. En dan sê hy dat alle aansoeke, dat die donasies binne die begrote bedrag volgens die raad se diskresie slegs aan nie winsgewende organisasies, instellings, welsyn, diens, liefdadigheidsorganisasies, opvoedkundige instellings gemaak word aan organisasies wie se doelstelling bied. So dis die vereiste en dis hoekom jy gewoonlik finansiële state soek, want dis waarin al daai toekennings gewoonlik in rapporteer. Huidiglik is daar nie so 'n voorskrif in die beleid wat huidiglik staan nie. So sou ons daai goed dan wil inbring om strenger en beter voorwaardes, kontroles in te bou, dan stem ek saam, dan kan ons dit akkommodeer in die nuwe beleid bykomend tot die basiese.
Liewer hierdie aanbeveling finansies en IT. Kan ons dit so aanvaar? Het ons hom so? Dankie.
Thank you. 11.14 is to do with the feedback report for the utilization of the Anine Booysen Skills Center. The public would want to see a more optimal utilization of the Anine Booysen Skills Center. And that is why Mr. Nombasa and the HR department went to write a report, a very comprehensive report of what is currently happening at the Anine Booysen Skills Center, what are the future plans for the utilization of the skill center, and also what strategic partnerships has been established with different stakeholders, the various CETAs, vibrancy at the Anine Booysen Skill Center itself. So the report is in front of council. It has been through the portfolio committee. It elaborates a bit more on the item.
Thank you. Morning, everyone. Morning, Councillor. Thank you, MM. Good afternoon, sir. I just want to report on progress as to where we at in terms of what we need to do at the Anine. As we see in the report, there's quite a number of activity at the Anine Booysen Center, and people who do not see this activity are people that do not visit the center. You will see that on the table with green sections that these are programs that have been, and this is what has been taking place at the center. And also at the center, we forged partnerships with the Western Cape Community College. Community College does teaching in terms of primary and high school learning. They've now added one or two people in terms of primary school teaching. Yeah, but they are also part of the Department of Higher Education and Training. What the mayor pushed us a lot in terms of what is it that is happening at the center. And at some point, I would say, but people who do not see the center won't know what is happening at the center. We then, fortunately, for us, I would say it's a blessing. The Construction CETA Roadshow, and the invitation came on a Saturday. And on that day, they wanted the mayor and the MM and us to go. And I said, I'm not going to any roadshow, and I know the MM and the mayor won't go there. You owe us. So they then decided that no, you don't come we will come to you. Basically what it was, the mayor and his office, and also us as the Skill Center management unit. At that meeting, we took the new council. Apparently it was a new council. I'm trying to take you back a little bit. The new council of the Construction CETA, they've changed councils and they've changed CEOs, and they wanted to work with us. We took them from the onset, 2013 to now, and also what is taking place now. We need to make sure that on a yearly basis, you will make allocations in terms of skills development, because this skills development was built by the Construction CETA first. Although we will try and get funding from others, or programs from other SETAs. But we then said in that meeting, you have to be the main SETA that is servicing the SETA in terms of programs. They then left, and within a month, they promised, and we didn't think that those promises, you know how SETAs are. We didn't think that the promises would come back, and within a month, we received an allocation of 400 learners, and the cost was about 13.6 million with special CEO allocation. And they then delivered on their promise. The letter came through, and this is basically what we're busy with now, which when we discussed the programs, one of the programs was the RPL for internal staff, which was awarded in 2015 year, that time, by the minister. And we said to them, we need SETA to pay back on that. That allocation was then factored in that allocation in that letter as external. We then had a meeting about a week ago to say that we need to convert this particular allocation because it's exactly the way that we have been waiting for. And they then obliged. So that particular allocation on ARPL would be for Cape Agala's internal staff who have been at Northlink College, but they couldn't complete their qualification. We then further said to them last week, that you owe us 1 million, not 550,000. So you need to add another 10 or 11 learners in terms of that. I've calculated this stipend to be 550,000. So you will then offset that money into that funding into 1 million. They then went back. We're waiting for them to basically give us a new allocation. But in terms of other programs, we're going forward. We are at they advertise widely, and it is in the joint district model. We wrote a letter to the district to say this is what, because we had to do a formal letter, this is what is taking place, and we need the district to be with us on it. So this is where we're at this point. I've informed also the Councillor Matheson and Councillor Lowe, who were there, in terms of progress, where we're at, and because they were part of the team that was there. So this is where we're at this point with regards to that.
Okay. Thank you, Speaker. I think that's a mouthful, but it's important that councillors are also aware of what is happening at the... So, councillors, as the advert go out, please ensure that people within your wards, people within your... make sure that we maximize the footprint of such an initiative in our Cape Agulhas municipal area. Thanks.
Is there a possibility we can get some young people together as well, also to brief them? Maybe we can set a date, or maybe afterwards we can just talk and see how we can organize that.
The participants, those that want to be part of it, to apply, because some people would apply for all of them. The program, the person must apply for one and not three, because once you do three, then someone is missing an opportunity because it was taken by whoever. Yeah. So that is basic. Those are the issues that we're going to be dealing with in terms of the advert.
Thank you, Councillor.
Place, and also I would like even other councillors to be invited to those such a meeting, because as we're here as a councillor, we also represent constituency that we come from. So that part of information we need even to have, so that we can. I know me can inform me and others can inform, but others, that information, lack of information is also critical in that regard. And we started to be there for the sake of being there, but not being utilized.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Speaker. Now, we've discussed that all this lengthy in the MICO IBICA meeting. And the plea is that we really make all effort to get 399 learnerships. If we don't get 200, then we're not going to be awarded next year. We awarded 400 now, and that is the opportunity for Cape Agulhas. And we need to have a rep on the road with the ward councillors, number one, to get as many as people involved in your respective ward. And we need to also maybe identify some projects that can be beneficial to the municipality. And what I've suggested is the producing of pavers, a pavers project, and then also some of the construction that people learn to lay the pavers. So we can make pavers and we can lay pavers in all our wards. And we budgeted because I think we need some sand, we can cement, but we need to have a discussion with CETA Construction on how we can bring that project to a possibility in Cape Agulhas to make pavers and to lay pavers. And that can help us also. Thank you.
Speaker, ek wil nou nie die besigheid nog langer uitreik.
Good, we take note.
You can in last by T side in terms of community education, people are coming out. The non-formal educational approach, and I think I've spoken to you about this. We're moving towards the fourth industrial revolution. AI, I'm not sure how many of the councillors in the room are aware of ChatGPT, which is a new form of artificial intelligence that does everything for you. That's where we need to move towards. I think we need to stay away from the conservative thinking, because we're not only planning now for our kids, but also for the future generation. So I think those are the type of programs that we also need to bring to the learning centers, like coding, robotics, those type of stuff, especially for young people that are at home, that don't know anything. And that's why I'm saying that we need to bring that component also to the Anine Boyson Skill Center, that we don't only just rely on CETA programs, because we have got a lot of skillful people within the community, Speaker, that has got these skills, but we don't use them. And I think also from the municipality side, we need to look at who are the people in our community, what skills do they have, and how do they want to give, how can they give back. But I think coding and robotics is a major important thing that we need to focus within Cape Agulhas, especially. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you, sir. Mbasa.
Skills development now, and we start with 400 now at the moment. We need to apply somewhere to some organization funding to expand the only 2 rooms for classrooms, and then at the back there is other, but we need expansion also there.
The money part of the allocation will go to the service providers, which would be your TVET colleges. Our role is to apply, and the allocation, yes, will come to us, but in terms of service providers, the CETA at this point, they want to do it that process themselves, because we do not have simulation. So, and I like the fact that they did it that way, because we would have been struggling to get that. So what we and the CETA then said they must speak to us. And fortunately, Northlink College is the college that we deal with our own employees, and they've been treating us very, very good. So they will take over from once we conclude. Now in the CETA, we then realize that people get stipends, and some of them disappear. We've had experiences like that that time already. Now, if there's an artisanship program, there's quite a number of them that they've issued in that allocation. The person that does bricklaying or plumbing or electrical needs to be, after the classroom learning, needs to be at school, at the college. Now, what we then put forward in that meeting was that take the foundation, and that is what False Bay does. When they take a student, with the accommodation and meals. So that works, and that will keep the student. We are of the opinion that will keep the student at school. And yeah, because we are far from Cape Town.
Yeah, thank you, Speaker. It's a mouthful. 11.15, thanks, Mombasa. External Audit Action Plan, what we commonly refer to as OPCA. And also, Speaker, I just want to ask yourself as well. So if after this one, we can just quickly deal with 11.19, which is the Audit Committee report, if it's okay with that. Then he can be excused. 11.15 has to do with the OPCA. This is the normal item that comes to council, which council is fairly familiar with, to just bring you on speed of how far we are with implementing the OPCA. So Zolile, I don't think there's much you will be able to add to that apart from the report.
Thank you, MM. Thank you, Speaker. There isn't really, Speaker, the only one that I can probably emphasize on, that is on OPCA, is on the identified by the AG of 9.4 million. That one, Chairperson, the municipality wanted an independent opinion from the PT. So we've been waiting for that opinion, then eventually it came through. They are of the view that the municipality was correct with the process that was followed. There is no irregular expenditure as identified by the AG. However, the only thing that also triggered the AG was the use of a panel of service providers. So now the PT has recommended that in future, instead of using panel of service providers, let's rather use various suppliers. That will at least has been trying to get a meeting with the AG so that we can come together and discuss this opinion from the province and see whether they are satisfied or they would want us to go further and look for another opinion from a supply chain expert, or whether they would also want to take it to their technical guys as well. So at this current moment, we are still waiting to have that meeting with the AG so that we can polish this one out. So it is the only one that is currently I can give update on. The rest, it's the dates are still upcoming. Thank you, Speaker. Then that is it on the OPCA. Then the next one is the report, Audit Committee report to Council. The Council appointed the 3 committee members in the meeting that set in January, effective from 1st of February 2023. Those members set for their first meeting this Monday that just passed, the 20th. Most of the staff, there is just a few concerns that they have. It is all highlighted in the report. But the main one that probably I could make an apology on behalf of the committee was with the fees from the Auditor General. That one was missed out from the areas of concern. The fees from the Auditor General rose almost by more than 50%, in fact. So the previous years we had around 3,500,000, and then all of a sudden now we are just above over 5 million. So we are just above 5 million. You will remember that they also delayed the completion of the audit for the 21-22. One of the reasons that they gave when they presented that, which the letter which was also presented to Council, was that they wanted to verify the quality on their side. So the Council should also bring remember that the AG brought some group of first years, which is now the freshers from the university. Those are the students who came to get experience. Not to say that that is the main reason or that is the reason, but it could be also be the contributing factor. Also on our side, we don't really remember delaying the information to provide to AG that could result to the fees climbing that high. So part of that meeting that I just now spoke of on the OPCAR is also to discuss that issue of the fees. Why did the fees climb so high? Also in the previous meetings, the steering committee meetings that we have had with them, they were never upfront to say exactly what the fees would be. Although they gave estimates, but they just exceeded those estimates completely by almost 2 million. So yeah, that is how far I can go, Speaker, with this, unless there is any question with regards to the report or the presentation itself. Thank you.
First the OPCAR and then the Audit Committee. Question? Audit Committee. Okay.
Speaker, I just want to highlight, especially regarding the concerns, and I think what Solile has also mentioned regarding the role clarification between property management and finance departments, and the role clarifications between building control, town planning, and finance departments. And then I think it's the last one is the excessive leave that accumulates that could have an impact not only on the financial aspect of the municipality, but also the health of employees. I think especially that was highlighted by the audit committee. It sometimes come into play, and I think I've alluded to it earlier regarding the issue with the peaks, when departments are phoning into as to whose responsibility is it. So I'm not sure in terms of what will be the way forward to try and resolve this. Will this be part of the restructuring? Is that part of that? And I think maybe the MM can also shed some light on that. And then the other issue is the excessive leave, which is a problem. And I think some of us that have worked, sometimes you do get sick, but what's the reason for that? Have we investigated it? I don't know if the LLF have addressed this issue, especially at that committee, but it is a problem because if somebody stays away from work a lot, we need to understand why is that. And I think we just need clarity on that. Thank you, Speaker.
Any comments?
Maybe the short answer from my side is exactly we brought it under the attention of the audit committee in terms of this role clarification and for the mere fact that we has now experienced the impracticalities, and we have a meeting now, Nombasa, just after this meeting with the consultants that have been appointed for the restructuring process, and these are some of the aspects that we are going to clarify. I think Zolile can maybe allude to the other question.
Thank you, Speaker. And also thank you, the excessive leaves, it's an instance of, it's not the case of someone who stays away from work, but it's someone who doesn't want to stay away from work. That is the reason we have that excessive leave. It's a case of someone who just decide, okay, I'm not going to apply for leave, I will just come to work. That's why they highlighted the fact that it will not only have the financial impact, but it will also have an impact on the fatigueness of the employees. Because if you don't take leave, then eventually you will get tired and all that. You might as well get sick as well. So those it is the MM is giving it his full attention. It will be taken up with the management in the management meetings as well. So yeah, as I said, this report was tabled just this past Monday. There is an MM's meeting that is going to sit somewhere in May. That is where it will also be tabled at. And as I said, the MM has a full attention of it. It is in his agenda. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, maybe just to also just give the council a peace of mind, even myself has requested HR and also audit to have a look at the absenteeism rate. Because I think that is what you want to allude to the fact. So we will also bring a report to, I think Zolile is also heading that audit so that we can get a sense of who are the people that are continuously away from work and for what reasons. Thanks.
Speaker, sorry, if I may, the last one is just a recommendation in the audit committee's report to council. They also recommended that there be consequence management for officials who commit offences against the municipality. So they highlighted a few things there. That is non-payment of municipal accounts, traffic fines, and also there were officials who were identified, registered as indigents. So they want to have real actions taken against those. And with regards to the traffic fines, unfortunately, there were also a couple of councillors as well. So yes, thank you, Speaker.
Any other questions? Raadsheer?
Ekskuus tog, ek wil net ek weet is daar iewers in die wetgewing is daar 'n ding dat jy sekere aantal verlofdae moet vat in 'n jaar. So ons sal moet kyk daarna en ek is bly jy het aangeraak die een van die nie betaal van die rekening is dat ons die raadslede ook daarbey insluit in die boetes en goeders so.
Thanks, Lily. You may be excused if you want to run to your...
Yes, also just from my side, I also really want to bring under council attention that the boots that Zolile is filling in that department as the chief audit executive, acting chief audit executive, and from my side, you're doing a splendid job. Thanks. Okay, 11.17 raadslede is the Memorandum of Understanding between Zero Waste Association of South Africa, what commonly referred to as ZWASA, our LED department and our waste management department in terms of a compost initiative that they are embarking on. Finance and IT committee meeting, portfolio committee meeting, and now we are just requesting to enter into a formal memorandum of understanding, a MOU, between the municipality and ZWASA to expand on this project. Oscar, I'm not sure if you want to elaborate a little bit more on this.
Not really more, councillors. This point merely serves to formalize, to give authority to the MM to formalize an already existing relationship that we are having with ZWASA. ZWASA is a Zero Waste Association of South Africa. It's an NPO. They are primarily like extended. This MOU holds no financial implications to the council, at least to like recommend that this MOU be entered into.
Quarterly Section 52 report of the third quarter ending the 31st of March 2023. This is also a legislative requirement where we just need to inform council of this quarterly report and I'm just going to give over to the CFO. I'm not sure if you want to highlight anything from the report before we go to the recommendation.
So thank you, Speaker. No, I think the only concern still is actually the impact of the load shedding, although the information is still lower than what we have indicated. And I think surely, although we try to accommodate some of the impact of the load shedding into sooner in terms of our expenditure, if there's a need to cut down on some of that, rather to wait too long, especially on that category on the prepaid that incorporated in the tariff structure, and I think what we need to do is maybe just to look and to apply the same as your conventional. Just mentioned 7 days than what we had in June, and I think after the meeting together with Councillor Donald, where we engaged the department, there was a positive reaction, and we just want to clarify who's responsible for certain properties. Of course, National Public Works say no, to that meeting as well to engage them and to see that they give us the correct contact details and where the account must go for payment. And I think that account contribute also just above 1 million, 4 million. Then our 44 thousand amount will definitely become less towards the end of the year. Other than that, there's no real. I know if not, then maybe there will also be a shortfall in terms of that. But that is actually in essence where we are. There's no other real deviations except for those that we have just indicated now.
Thanks. Inputs? Netjiese verslag, baie dankie. Baie deeglik.
Dringende sake die
vrae, insette, aanvaar ons dit so? Hy raak korter.
Ek wil net vir ek ben ons was gisterand in Aniston, dit is natuurlik nie 'n lys op 'n deel van die lys op daai van die agterstallige sake van afgehandel word en dit is die aansoek vir daai wat daar aan. En hy was eintlik 'n bietjie teleurgestel dat ons nie werte wat nog ander gegee het aan daai saak nie. Soos dat ons dit net asseblief ook kan miskien 'n bietjie prioritiseer.
Ja, dit is die stuk grond dat ons het vir hom 'n stuk erf toegeken in Aniston, maar nou soek hy het 'n aansoek gedoen vir 'n nuwe stuk agter die kliniek. So ek is seker in die nuwe spatial development framework sal dat daai kerk geloofsone daar nou uitgewys word. En sodra hy in die SDF uitgewys word as oordrag die kontraktering daarvan